What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Ken Ray, and I'm back with another video, man. Today, man, we're gonna be watching this Tuesday Spooky Special,
which was yesterday, but you know,
I haven't really been uploading, so I'm just gonna go ahead and give y'all a little special, okay?
it's two. I'm giving you 2 for 1, okay? So you better.
I experienced something in the summer of 2013 that still haunts me and continues to make me question my sanity. My girlfriend Anna and I had decided to go camping as a last farewell to summer and to get some alone time. She'd be going back to college soon after, and I wouldn't see her as often. We'd been together for over 2 years then, and I was completely head over heels for her. I was even thinking about asking her the question.
Dang, you was gonna marry her. Dang, that's crazy.
So on a weekend in early August, I packed up my camping gear, driving 45 minutes away to the park we often frequented. It was a nice park, thick with trees and wildlife, along with a small creek running through it. We knew the area well, since my friends and family had camped there since childhood. I sent a text to Anna after parking my car, letting her know that I'd made it, and I'd set up camp in our favorite spot. You see, Anna had been caring for her sick grandmother all summer, and her sister had finally agreed to watch her so that Anna could get away for a while. But she had to wait for her sister to get off work around 5 p.m. to relieve her. To save time, I'd volunteered to go ahead and set things up. I trekked up the trail a bit, until I found the spot we always camped at. It was nice and level, and was right beside the creek. I immediately started setting up the tent. I wanted to get everything done fast, so Anna didn't have to help. 40 minutes later, I had it all set up. The tent, the sleeping bags, a little fire. Everything was organized and cozy. My phone suddenly buzzed. It was a text from Anna. "I have something to tell you," it read. Just as I began to text her back, I heard footsteps coming down the path. My body tensed up a bit, because you can never tell what kind of people you might run into out here. We had on a number of occasions met with a few drunks and the occasional rowdy teenager out here, but I soon relaxed as I saw Anna step out from behind the trees with a big grin on her face. I walked up and hugged her, scooping her up off the ground a bit to make her giggle. I set her back down and asked her what she had wanted to tell me. "I love you," was the reply I got from her as she planted a kiss on my cheek. Her voice, though, it sounded different, and her lips were chillingly cold. I asked her if she felt sick. She simply shrugged off the question and went to check out our campsite. I gave her a brief tour before I set about cooking the dinner. I made us each one of those pre-packaged camping meals that you add hot water to. It was pasta Alfredo, and I opened a bottle of red wine to go with it. We sat around the fire, eating, while I tried my best to entertain her with some funny stories. The sun was setting, and I was having a great time. I watched the shadows dance off of her, and the
It says true doppelganger horror story animated. This is a horror story, and y'all can see y'all sitting right next to me. Y'all is calm. I'm calm. I don't know, man.
the surrounding trees. I listened to the gentle motion of the nearby creek. The daylight was almost gone when she said she was cold. I mentioned she could go in the tent to warm up while I cleaned up from dinner. She made her way inside, but not before giving me a smile and another freezing cold kiss. I was starting to get worried about her. I wondered if she was getting sick, but I didn't want to nag her, so I didn't say anything. I busied myself with cleaning up our dinner, and it was then that I found Anna's plate of food that she had set off to the side on the ground. She hadn't even touched it. I also found her glass of wine nearby, tipped out onto the grass. This wasn't like her at all. That girl loved food, and that particular wine was her favorite. At this point, I was more than a little worried. So I headed into the tent to ask her if she was feeling sick, and to suggest that we pack up and get a motel for the night. But when I unzipped the tent and crawled in, I found her sound asleep in her sleeping bag. I contemplated waking her up so we could leave, but she looked so relaxed that I decided against it. I went back outside and finished cleaning up camp, putting out the fire before I laid down next to her in my own sleeping bag. I had had a bit too much wine, and I fell asleep quickly. Morning came soon enough and filled the tent with a soft glow as I listened to the birds singing outside. Anna was still sound asleep, so I decided to get up and start some breakfast. 15 minutes later, I was admiring the meal I made. Well, as much as one can admire slightly runny scrambled eggs from a pouch. I poked my head back into the tent to tell Anna that breakfast was ready. But that's when things got even weirder. Anna wasn't there. I didn't think it was likely that she could have left the tent without me seeing her. But maybe she had done so while my back was turned. I waited for a bit, figuring she stepped out when nature called. About 15 minutes passed, and I was starting to get worried. I walked to the edge of the campsite and called out for her, but there was no response. I walked to the trail and called out her name as I walked up and down the path each way, but still nothing. I went back to the campsite and checked the tent, but it was still empty. I searched for her belongings, but that's when I realized she hadn't brought a thing with her. I couldn't even remember her checking her phone last night, which she was in the habit of doing. She always checked her phone, always brought it with her in case her grandma needed her. That's when I grabbed my phone and decided to text her. I didn't have any signal, so I walked back up the trail a bit to the truck, where I knew the signal was good. That's when the text messages started flooding my screen. All of them were from Anna. My hands began to tremble as I read.
I ain't felt this good in a minute.
I have something to tell you. That was the text I saw earlier. I went on. It's bad news. My grandma just passed away. Are you there? Can you meet me at Grandma's when you can? I can't go camping tonight, I'm sorry. We should reschedule. Where are you? Fine, I'll be at my sister's house for the night. Call me when you can. My hands were shaking so violently that I dropped my phone.
This is true doppelganger horror story. This is true. This is a true story. Y'all keep that in mind.
Mind reeled so fast that I had to fight to not pass out. I ran back to the campsite and searched it, but there was no evidence of Anna or anyone else being there. I checked the tent to look at her sleeping bag that had clearly been used last night. I even checked the garbage bag to confirm that there were, in fact, 2 plates from dinner last night, one with food still on it. I ran back to the truck.
Ain't that gonna make him look stupid though? Cause he still got a plate full of food which nobody touched. That would mean that there's no evidence. And a plate that he touched. It's not looking good for you.
And sent Anna a text, because I didn't trust my voice not to tremble if I called her. I told her I got really sick last night and couldn't text her back. I apologized profusely and offered my condolences about the passing of her grandma. She texted me back letting me know she was okay and that I would see her later today. I walked back to camp in a daze. My mind seemed to want to shut down. It couldn't process what had happened. At first, I thought I was going crazy. I thought I'd had a breakdown and imagined everything. But the used sleeping bag and uneaten dinner told me differently. Who or what kept me company last night? Who or what could look just like Anna, but not be her? Had it been a ghost? A doppelganger? A shapeshifter of some kind? Was all of it just a sick joke? I packed up camp with difficulty.
I was gonna say it's one of those skin crawler thing, but no, because they gotta kill their victim, then they turn into their victim, and then yeah, that's not gonna work. That's not the same thing.
My stomach was in knots and my muscles were weak. I felt like I was going to get sick at any moment. I made it home and sent a text to Anna. I said I was still sick and didn't want to make her sick. I saw her next on the day of her grandma's funeral, where I easily passed off my residual anxiety about the whole ordeal as grief and sympathy. As I said at the beginning, I haven't told this story to anyone. Anna and I are now happily married and I still haven't even told her. We don't go camping in those woods anymore.
I think she's gonna find out now, my boy.
We found a much nicer, hopefully safer spot. I look back on that night often. I replay all the scenes in my head, trying to find hints that will lead me to an explanation. But I haven't figured out anything. I still only know one thing. I spent the night with someone or something that wasn't my girlfriend.
We all know why he really pressed. Cause that boy was in them sheets. And that's when he really pressed. But thank y'all so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave a comment on this video. Y'all make sure y'all check out my y'all go ahead and check out my channel right here. Go ahead and check this channel out. Go ahead and check it out. Y'all go ahead and check out these videos right here. This is the newest video. Y'all gotta watch this. After y'all get done watching this, y'all go ahead and watch that one. This one was yesterday. Y'all need to go check that out. This one, this is the playlist, my boy, my girl. Y'all gotta check that out too. And with that being said, we went straight into the next one.